When I left the university, I didn't have an idea of what I was going to do for a living. I had studied English and literary studies. I had practiced journalism on campus. In fact, my friend would tell you, when asked what Charles will become, they would tell you a journalist. But I had resolved that I was never going to get a paid employment. I told the story that led to that resolution in a video I captured why I chose entrepreneurship and never looked back. The link is in the comment. You can look it up. So here I was, out of the university, resolved never to get a paid employment, and at loss as to what to do to make a living. I walked into the church one day, on a Sunday, and it was announced that the publicity department needed some hands. And I volunteered myself. Eventually, we published a magazine. In the process of doing that, I got introduced into the printing press. At the end of the day, I began to ask myself, what can I do with this new knowledge I've just acquired? How can I turn my knowledge of printing press into a money-making venture? I began to think. Then it occurred to me, greeting cards. At this time, there was no cell phones, and the streets of Lagos was thriving with this business of greeting cards. Every street corner has a shop selling greeting cards. Moreover, it can be started small. So I bought into it, got some designs, then went to the press. That's how I stepped into the world of entrepreneurship. My name is Charles. I'm 60 plus years old. I'm an entrepreneur and a non-parent, though not by choice. In this video, I draw and share lessons from snippets of my life. I hope you subscribe and let us grow together. One of the reasons I struggled as a young entrepreneur was the fact that I stepped into the business world unguided. I literally walked out of the classroom into the business world. I had no mentor, not any form of apprenticeship. That's like trying to climb Mount Everest without a guide. A mentor could have introduced me to some trusted vendors. A mentor could have taught me what sells at what point in time, with the quantity with which to start. But I had none. That was the beginning of my struggle. My second misstep was that I grabbed anything and everything that seemed like an opportunity. I was never focused on a particular form of business. Anything that seems to likely bring fast money caught my attention, and I would dive in. I had a I have a childhood friend who started out in business dealing in scrap metals. Over the years, without wavering, my friend has remained in that business. Little wonder is a huge success. He never wavered. Focus, single-mindedness in business will take you a long way. But wavering is like scattering your strength. My third misstep was that I was chasing money. Every opportunity I grabbed was an opportunity to make fast money. Instead of building a business that could eventually, at the end of the day, be a money churning machine for me, I was so much in a hurry. Building a business requires focus, requires dedication, requires engineering the process or the structure of your business that it will work, whether you are present or not. The first misstep was that I deceived myself, thinking as a student of literature, I was not good with figures. So I neglected the books. There was no bookkeeping. There was no budgeting. There was no record of any sort. I wasn't flippant with my money. I wasn't reckless with the money. But I didn't invest right. I didn't put my money in the right places. I remember Bishop David Oyedepo's story of how the church became so financially buoyant. He said from inception, there is a sum that is kept aside, either in the bank or invested in instruments from every money made. That is, from every income the church got, a certain percentage of it goes either into the bank or into buy instruments. He was putting the money in right places. I never did that. There you have it. Those are my reasons. I struggled as a young entrepreneur. And don't do that. Thank you for staying with me this far.